to the call. We'll be getting started here in just a couple minutes. And if you guys want to, in the chat, I always appreciate when you guys do this. Just tell us where you're from. Throw it in there. I'm in Springfield, Missouri. Oh, got a KC guy in here, Tony Rice. All right. Probably a Chiefs fan, right, Tony? Yeah, me too, Tony. How can you not be, right? By now, you got to at least jump on the bandwagon. But no, I've been an avid Chiefs fan since like 1985. Crazy, right? When the Royals won the World Series, I was 11 years old. Yeah, I am a Royals fan, man. I'm sorry, but I am. George Brett and all those people. That was my day. 11 years old when they won that World Series. And then of course I was still a Royals fan all the way to 2015. If you all must know, New Jersey, Denver, all right, Columbia, Cali. Keep them coming. Gus from San Antonio. How you doing, Gus? Hang in there, folks. We'll be getting started really soon. If you're a first-time person, like if you've never heard of Sosana and this is like your first Zoom, and not necessarily, you may have looked at some information, but just tell us if it's your first Zoom. Tell us. First timer. There we go, Tony. Tony from KC. That doesn't surprise me. Well, I didn't recognize you. Welcome, welcome, everybody. We're going to be getting started here real quick. Keith, keep me posted if anybody tells you that they're having trouble with the waiting room or anything like that. They shouldn't be, but just in case. Here we go, folks. Here we go. Get ready. About to start the call. Just a few more seconds. We're going to get started. Great to have you. I'm going to reiterate, if you can tell us where you're from, but also if this is your first Zoom, let us know. I'd love to hear from you guys. It took 3 times to get back in. I'm sorry, Shelly. I'm not sure why. I'll admit Zoom works really good, but it's not perfect. And now, Shelly, it's telling us, I don't know if you know that, but it's telling us like multiple times that it took you 3 times. Welcome, Donald. Great to have you, brother. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. Is that Ariel? Yeah, welcome, Ariel. Great to have you. Okay, folks, let's go ahead and get the call started. I'm going to go ahead and record it.
Recording in progress.
Okay, we are all ready. Here we go. Again, my name is Mark Ross. I am co-founder of Sosana. My founder, David Track, and business partner. We started this project. Really, the idea was kind of conceived, I believe, if I have my dates right, December of last year is when David called me up one day and he said, I have the idea for a perfect meme coin project. Absolutely perfect. So he told me his idea. He said, I'm going to call it Sosana. I said, what does that mean? Basically, what Sosana stands for is shiny object syndrome and nothing accomplished. And when we tell people that, typically the very first reaction is they laugh at us. They're like, ha ha ha. But that's exactly what we want, right? We want, really, if you laugh at that term, you're laughing at yourself. Because if you've been in the Solana ecosystem for any amount of time, you've been scammed. If you've added projects from the Solana ecosystem into your portfolio, you've been rug pulled, you've been scammed, you've been put through the ringer. And the reason why we think that concept alone, just the meme coin concept alone, was a winner is because one of the biggest things about meme coins that makes them successful initially is that they're very relevant. The timing is usually good. Maybe it's political. maybe it's entertainment, whatever it may be. One I like to point to is Peanut the Squirrel. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one, but Peanut the Squirrel was one that I actually was lucky enough to get into. And the only reason I got into it is because the day before I understood what it was, I saw it up on the deck screener. I was looking at it and I was going, Peanut, what's that? I'll look at it later. I just kind of ignored it. And I literally get up the next morning. I walk into my living room. The TV's on and it's right there on the news. They're talking Peanut the Squirrel and all this stuff about Peanut the Squirrel. And it's this big political mess, right? I immediately, because of that, ran to my computer and I saw it. And I saw that it had gone up a lot, but then it dipped all the way back down. And I thought, you know what? This thing is so relevant. I'm gonna take a shot. So I put like $1,200 into it. Of course, I'm looking back, wishing I'd have put like 5 grand or 10 grand or something, right? But I put in $1,200, and I'm not kidding you. This was right before the election because this was very political. So right after the election, like this was the day before the election. It was probably like the 2 days later, the token just went, it exploded, and my $1,200 turned into like 60 grand, just like that. It was just so fast. I didn't even know what to do with myself. I couldn't believe it. Well, of course, I didn't sell at the top. I ended up making about 35 grand on it, which is still awesome, right? But that's just an example of why people keep looking for that hit. It's almost like dopamine, right? They're looking for that next project. Why do we get into crypto in the first place? We want to find a quality project at the very beginning. Isn't that pretty much what we all want? We want to find quality projects, build our portfolio, and find them as soon as possible so we get the lowest price possible. That's what we do in crypto. Well, that's actually what we do here at Sosana. We help you do that better than any other crypto project in history because like I said, when we looked at this from a meme coin perspective, if you go to sosana.io, you're going to see a really funny, entertaining website that David Track himself put together. He did an incredible job of all of the, the jokes, the entertainment, the information, and then it goes into this Rick and Morty cartoon. All that stuff was there before we came up with the actual utility. Because in the beginning, we didn't even come up with a utility. We were just like, this will be a funny meme. We'll tell people about it. We think it'll go viral. And I think I really honestly think it would have. But we also came up with this amazing utility, this amazing thing that we believe is going to actually save a very, very difficult situation that's not only that Solana ecosystem is in, but all of crypto. And that is the shiny object syndrome. Because think about it. There are literally thousands of projects every single day, especially meme coins, popping up every single day. Because see, if you think about the Solana network, that blockchain, it's the number 6 project in crypto. It is an awesome blockchain. It's fast, it's scalable. It's one of the first of its kind to do what it can do, and it does it cheap. The fees and the transactions dirt cheap. And so what that did is it created a blockchain that was so user friendly that unfortunately what comes with that is everybody and their dog. Everybody thinks they can make a meme coin now. And if you go to Pump Fund, which is probably 70 to 80% of the tokens that come out on the Solana network, people are able to go in there with like $100 and just create their own meme coin, put it out there, get it through a certain phase, and hopefully it makes it to the market. That's what people are doing right now. So it's become a literal crapshoot when it comes to finding quality projects. And here's the thing, even though the Solana network is full of 99.99% projects that aren't valid, aren't good, aren't quality, there's still a lot of really super quality projects that pop up that we could learn about. But we're so distracted with all the shiny objects, we can't even see it, right? That's where the solution comes in. And this is what we came up with at Sosana, and we think it's going to go absolutely viral. Here's what we came up with. We believe that we could put together what we call a safe haven, a community, where the community would come together and there'd be strength in numbers. And inside that community, we would have an election process where if you're holding $500 worth of Sosana, hold on, I got to clear my throat, folks. Not sure what's wrong with me tonight. But if you hold $500 worth of Sosana, you can nominate your favorite project on the Solana ecosystem. Okay, because there's a lot of good ones out there, and we know that the bigger this community gets, the more minds will come together, and those people will show up who maybe they have a relationship with somebody, maybe they have an expertise, lots of experience, or maybe they've got an excellent resource of someone else that's constantly bringing in really quality projects. They're going to bring that to the community and nominate that. It's a 2-week process. And if you're holding $50 worth of Sosana, you're going to actually be able to come in and vote for that nomination. So what this does is it forges those nominations through an election process, which allows Sosana community members to discover quality projects. Now think about that. What I just explained to you has literally never been done in crypto history. What I just explained, and we could stop right there. We could be a funny meme coin, and we could be a safe haven community where people can actually find quality projects, and that alone would make us go viral. But let's take it another step. This is where the magic comes in. Listen very, very carefully. So what we did was we created what we call a transaction tax. Now, I'm just like everybody else. I hate taxes, right? But when I explain this tax to you, you're going to love the Sosana tax. It is a 3% transaction tax on all buys, sells, and transfers. So anytime that token moves from one wallet to another, it's going to be taxed 3%. Now, one of the reasons we absolutely must have a tax, especially if you're on the Solana ecosystem, is because there are trading bots out there. And for those of you who don't know what that means, if you go to an order book or an order flow on a decentralized exchange, maybe you go to Dex Screener or Dex Tools, and you're looking at one of the projects on Solana, it could be any project, right? You're looking at it, they don't have any transaction fees. Matter of fact, one of their big selling points is no buy taxes, no sell taxes. So people feel like, oh, great, no taxes. Well, the reality is if you don't have any taxes, the trading bots are going to come tax your community anyway. And here's how they do it. They come in, and you may have seen an example where you're looking at the order flow and you see a $10,000 buy come in from a wallet, and literally 15 seconds later, you see that same exact wallet sell all their tokens for $10,050. So you saw that they pulled $50 in profit out with a $10,000 buy-in, right? Now, before you may not have known what that was, but those are trading bots, and they literally leech from the community from that liquidity pool. They're stealing from the community by pushing the buy price up and then slamming it back down with a $10,000 sale, and they make that little profit. So a 3% transaction tax will absolutely eliminate those bots from taxing the community in our liquidity pool. So that's a good thing, right? Having done that, we turned around that 3% tax, and now we're going to use it to actually reward the community in ways that you've never seen. The first way you might have seen before, and that is that 1% of that 3% actually goes to the liquidity wallet. The purpose of the liquidity wallet is to build up the price of Sosana to help us stabilize our price. So as that grows bigger, we become more stable, right? That's a good thing for the community. And that's not the first time that's ever happened, but that's one reason we have it. The second 1% that we have is to feed into what we call a marketing wallet. And that marketing wallet, again, its sole purpose is to market the Sosana project to, again, build up the price and the buy pressure into the Sosana token, which helps the whole community, right? And I'm sure you guys can agree with me there. But what I'm about to explain to you is where you really got to pay close attention, because the third 1% that we use that tax for is to feed into something we call the Degen Voter Bonus Reward Pool. Now, this Degen Voter Bonus Reward Pool is unprecedented. No company in history has ever done it. We're the first to do it, and we believe, and I think you guys will agree with me, there's no financial claims. This is not advice. I'm not telling you you're going to get rich. That's not my point. I'm going to give you the information. I'm going to tell you my opinion about it, and you guys are going to decide what you want to do with that information. But we believe that because of these Degen Voter Bonus Reward Pool and this reward mechanism that we have through this election process, we believe that our project is going to go viral. We believe that everybody in the Solana network is going to find out about us. We believe that we are going to actually save the Solana ecosystem, and we're going to take people out of shiny object syndrome and into potentially building a quality portfolio in the Solana ecosystem and network. And we think because of that, Solana is going to absolutely love us. We also think that other projects are going to love us. Because remember, we're not competing with other projects. There's nobody out there doing what we're doing. We're actually uplifting the quality projects. Our goal is to get those quality projects seen and to actually throw out the shiny objects. We think that, and I'm not saying this guarantees that you're going to find a quality project every 2 weeks. That's not my point. But my point is that this process will exponentially increase your chances of finding a quality project. And isn't that pretty much all you can ask for if you think about it? And isn't that what every single person in cryptocurrency that's an investor, isn't that what they're looking for? Is a place where they can find quality projects. And let me tell you, this mechanism is going to enable that utility better than anything else in crypto history. Why do I believe that? Well, here's how it works. Remember, I told you if you have $500 in Sosana, you can nominate your project. There's a 2-week period where nominations come in, and we're going to limit those nominations in the first election to just 25 projects. We don't want too many projects. We don't want so many projects that people come in and they feel like they're playing the lottery. We want people to have time to evaluate those projects. So 25 is going to be the maximum in the beginning, okay? Then you're going to have $50 in Sosana. If you're holding that, you can connect your wallet to that decentralized application. And then come Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, you're going to be able to see all the nominations. And for 48 hours, all the way until Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, you're going to be able to choose which nominated token you think is going to win the vote. What's your favorite project? Now, what is your goal here? Think about how useful this is. Every single member in the community should, if they know anything about Sosana and they understand this process, they should be wanting to vote for the most quality project. Why? Because that's the one that probably has the chance to win the vote, right? They want to win the vote. Why do they want to win the vote? Why do you want to vote for the winning token? Here's why. Because at the end of the vote, Monday, 7 p.m., we're going to reveal the winner. We're going to actually show you the top 10 list and how many votes each token got. You're going to be able to see how close it came. But the number one project that got the most votes, it's actually going to be purchased by the Degen Voter Bonus Reward Wallet. Now think about that for a second, how viral that can be. Everything I've told you up to this point is already amazing. This is the magic. This is where people, we believe, are going to make bigger rewards than we've ever seen in crypto history. We believe that. And so, again, we can't guarantee it, but that's what we believe. Why? Because let's say, and I'm just going to throw out some numbers. Let's just say we did $1 million in transactions over that 2-week period. $1 million. And some of you might think, wow, that's a lot. $1 million. I'm about to show you that $1 million isn't very much at all. But let's just say it was $1 million. That means 1% of that, $10,000, is going to be sitting in that Degen Voter Bonus Reward Pool. And it's going to be used to buy the token that everybody in the community, the majority of voters, voted for. And it's going to airdrop that token that it buys to all the people who voted for that token. Okay, it's gamifying the process of helping this community find and locate the most quality projects on the Solana ecosystem. That is by design its purpose. And that is exactly, again, I'm going to reiterate, I'm going to say things over and over to you guys so you really get this. You got to understand this. That is the reason why we're here. Everybody, if you ask them, why are you in crypto? To find quality projects at the soonest time possible. That's our goal. And so can you imagine there's going to be what I call a tipping point. Now think about this for a second. This is when we believe this thing is going to go utterly viral, because the bigger the community gets and the more transactions that come into Sosana, the bigger the reward wallet gets and the greater impact it's going to have, not only in the number of people that get rewarded, like never seen before, but on the token it purchases itself. Now think about that for a second. Amazing, right? I'm gonna bring Brian in here for real quick. I'm gonna unmute you, Brian. Don't come out yet, but I'm gonna unmute you. What I want to first do before I bring you out, brother, is I just want to do a quick screen share so that people can kind of get an idea. Again, when I do this screen share, I don't want you guys to think that this is some sort of a projection of guaranteed income or even what's going to happen. I'm just sharing an incredible concept with you, and you're going to make up your mind what you think is going to happen. But what I want to first do is I'm going to go to the coin market cap. I'm going to share my screen. And I want you to look at here. Brian, can we see the screen? Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is a list of all the meme coins that are on the coin market cap, and not every one of them, but the top ones, right? And it goes all the way down to like 394, right? I mean, even beyond that, right? I mean, 600, 700, whatever it is. Let's just kind of go middle of the pack, 394. I like to choose this token. And I think we're even going to have more volume because of the viral aspect, the synergy that we're creating. But let's just look at meme coin. Okay. If you take a look at meme coin, I'm going to highlight this real quick. I'm going to click on it. What I want you to notice about meme coin is a few things. Number one, the market cap. What is that? $87 million market cap. That's a pretty decent market cap for a meme coin. I mean, compared to all the rest of them, they've risen above. They've transcended most of them, right? Pretty successful project. But what I want you to realize is with an 87 million market cap, which is really not that big, it's successful, but it's not huge. They're doing $26.33 million. I'm going to highlight that right here per day in volume at just a measly $87 million market cap. Now, let me tell you something, folks. We have 88,888,888 tokens in our full circulating supply, which, by the way, will not be in full circulation for 5 years. And if you read our light paper, you can actually see our schedule of release, okay? Initially, there's going to be about 49% of those tokens in circulation day one, so you can cut that in half. Where would Sosana be if we got to an $88 million market cap? We're basically going to be somewhere around $1 to $2 a token. Now, initially, when we do a fair launch, there's going to be about $10,000 in the liquidity pool. 9.8 million tokens will be paired with that liquidity, which gives us a starting point. But all I can tell you is, and I don't want to give you an exact number on that, because I can tell you right now, if I throw out an exact number, people are going to say, oh, that means when the fair launch happens, I'm going to buy this token for such and such price. No, that's not the point. The point is it's going to be really, really low. Brian, what was our price? Where did we start in the first launch in the beta version? Where were we?
0007.
Okay, 0007, so less than a tenth of a penny. Now, I'm not going to say that's where we're going to be, but it's going to be somewhere around there. Let's just say it's somewhere between 1 and 2/10 of a penny. Let's just say that. Okay. Where did we go in 2.5 weeks on our beta version?
19 cents.
Okay, we went to 19 cents in about 2.5 weeks, and we only had about 200 people in the group. Unbelievable, right? Viral concept. Same exact concept we're talking to you with. Now, you can find out what happened in the beta version later. I'm not going to go into that right now. But the point is, if we get to that market cap, we're going to be somewhere between $1 and $2 a token. So you start doing the math on what you think is possible at the fair launch. You show up and you decide. Because I can tell you, when the fair launch happens, we believe we're going to have potentially, not a guarantee again, but because of our affiliate plan pouring gas on the fire here, which Brian's going to go into, we think we're going to potentially have, maybe 1,000 or more, maybe 2,000, maybe 4,000. I don't know. We think it'll be thousands. And when that happens, we think the buy pressure is going to be significantly higher, but we don't go out and say, Mark Ross told me I was going to get rich if I showed up at fair launch. I did not say that. I'm just saying this is what we think might happen. Okay. You guys can decide. But let's go to some of these other tokens and think about what's possible. Because remember, when I'm showing you these meme coin projects, most of them have no utility. Nothing. They're just funny. They're just funny little tokens. Let's go up to Pepe real quick. And now this is a big one. 29th in the whole ecosystem of crypto. Pepe, the token. What is Pepe? It's just a character. It's again, it's relevant because someone came up with a funny character. Everybody thought it was funny. And they built this cult following, and they blew this thing up. And I'm not sure what their peak market cap was. I believe it was around 9 billion. It may have been a lot higher. Trying to figure that out. Well, at its peak, you're going to go crazy, guys. This is nuts. At its peak in the bull market, they were doing $9.34 billion per day in transactions. Now that's like scary territory, right? For me, like when I think of that, I almost start to get scared because I'm thinking, what is going to happen to that Degen Voter Bonus Wallet if we can reach those heights? Why do I think we can? Why do I think we will? Because we have something no one's ever seen in crypto before. Now think about this. The market right now is kind of flat. They did $473 million in transactions today in the last 24 hours alone. Okay, what's 1% of 473 million? $4.7 million. 1%, right? Are you guys starting to get a feel for what's possible? What's possible? That's all. Just saying, what's possible? That's why we think this thing's going to go viral, because the bigger this gets, the bigger the pool, the bigger the rewards. Why would it stop? Why would people stop enjoying that? Why wouldn't you keep coming back every 2 weeks to find out what's new? And unlike Pepe, we got something new every 2 weeks. Think about that. That's why we believe there's so many synergies in play here as to why we think we're going to go viral. But on top of all this, on top of that, we actually put in place an affiliate program. Now, I'm going to let Brian go into what I haven't even fully covered yet, and that is the magnificent, what I call tipping point of we just believe that at some point that wallet, that reward wallet for Degen voters, it's going to get so big that we think something amazing is going to happen. Brian, why don't you explain that to him?
Fantastic, man. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Oh, brother, man. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. Man, that setup you always do is amazing, man. You make it easy. You just give me some softballs that I can knock out of the park, and I always appreciate that. And man, Mark, it's amazing because you download so much information in a compressed period of time, right? That a lot of people, I'm like, man, I know it's almost like you're getting hit from side to side, because first you're talking about and they think they got it, then you start going and you say, hey, these guys are doing $473 million in a day, of transactions. But hey, at their height, they were doing $9.4 billion in a day. And I think what a lot of people have to understand, that's real money, right? That's people from all over the world who have decided that, you know what, we see some value here. We want to throw our money in. We want to become a part of this community. And here's the best part. In a community that does nothing, right? You kind of said it, right? Pepe does nothing. It's just a cute little coin, and people have said, hey, I want to throw some money into it. Why do they want to throw money in it? They want to throw money in it because a whole bunch of other people threw money in it. That's the real reason why. And they're saying to themselves, if I throw money in and other people throw money in afterwards, and that actually puts more, buy pressure than sell pressure, even if they can't think in terms of those terms, if the price is going up and it goes higher than when I got it, and I can sell out at a higher price than a lower price, I can figure out a way how to turn, 10 cents into $1, $1 into $15, $15 into $1,000, et cetera. And I can create financial freedom just for being in the right place at the right time, taking the right action. That's really their thought process. No clue how it works, no clue why it works, doesn't matter. I'm just in right time, right place, taking the right action, and I'm making money. Here's the thing, man. And I guys, you know me, for those of you who are in here for the first time, you've never seen me before, I promise you I'm not crazy. I know I say a lot and I say it fast, but it's real serious enthusiasm and excitement. Not trying to be hypey, just trying to be real. I have a 19-year-old daughter. I always try to describe things in real time. I have a 19-year-old daughter who is home from the University of Virginia, and she has heard me on these calls every single night, getting more and more excited. And today, she finally said, Dad, can I talk to you for a second? I know you're busy, but can I talk to you for a second? And I said, yes, what's up? And she said, Sosana, why are you so excited? And this was a great conversation. And I'm going to kind of repeat this conversation back to you guys, because I'm telling you right now, everybody on here is probably older than my 19-year-old daughter. You guys are probably have more financial wherewithal than she does, because she's 19. She still doesn't have a lot of financial responsibilities, right? Myself and my wife are taking care of that for her. So you probably can think about this from a better perspective. But if you can understand this conversation, you can understand why we're so excited about Sosana. So the first thing she said to me, why are you so excited? And I had to basically sit there and say, how do I explain this to a 19-year-old who's not very crypto savvy and who hasn't actually ever had a real job yet, so maybe doesn't even understand how the financial part of the world works? And this is where I started. I said, you're not going to believe this, but I'm old enough that I was around when, before there was an internet. And she was like, okay. Like, she couldn't accept that because the internet's been around her whole life. She used it every single day. I said, but I remember when there was an internet. And they came up and they had that, right? And she said, okay, I got it. There was an internet. Okay, great. I said, now here's the thing. You heard of this little company called Google? And she said, of course. And I said, do you know why Google became so valuable? And she was like, not really. I said, okay, business 101. Find a void in the marketplace, fill that void, and wealth can be created. That's business 101. She said, I actually remember that from business class. I said, great. So here's the deal. There was this thing called the internet. There were people putting up content and information on the internet, but no one knew how to find it, which means that the internet was potentially great, but not great yet. And what Google did is it came along and it provided a way to map the internet so that now people could come on board and say, hey, I want to find this, and Google would go find it for you. Once that happened, everything changed. All of a sudden, people who didn't have websites on the internet said, I got to get a website on the internet, because now people are looking for people on the internet and they have a real easy way to find you, but only if you're there. So the quality of the internet itself got better and better and better just because somebody figured out a way to map it. Does that make sense to you? She's like, absolutely. I said, great. Now, let's take the crypto landscape right now. The crypto landscape is full of crypto tokens being launched every single day. You guys just heard Mark say that. There's days when thousands of new tokens are being launched. But here's the problem. Some of them are gold mines. Many of them are land mines, right? Some of them can blow up the profits in your portfolio, and some of them can simply blow up your portfolio. But here's the real issue. They all look the same. You guys got that? Shiny object syndrome and nothing accomplished. They all look the same on the surface. And if you don't know how to determine what the real gold mine is versus the land mine, you can get blown up. And that's what's happening to people all the time. And I said, let me give you some statistics here real quick. You know, at the top of this year, they looked at what was happening with crypto. They said, at the top of this year, they said, look, there's 172,000 crypto millionaires. There's 320 crypto centimillionaires, meaning worth $100 million or more. And there's 28 crypto billionaires. Now, here's the best part about those numbers. It's 40% higher than it was the year before, which means crypto wealth is becoming one of the fastest growing wealth classes in the entire world. And it's not slowing down. Are more people going to be getting into crypto? Yes or no? Absolutely they are, right? Are more crypto tokens going to be launched? Yes or no? Absolutely there will. And is the actual market cap of crypto going to continue to increase? Absolutely it is. So here's the issue. As more and more people come in and they're seeing all these tokens that all look the same, they're hearing that there's hundreds of thousands of millionaires being created by crypto, and they want to be a part of it, but they don't know the difference between a landmine and a gold mine. People are going to continue to become casualties of ignorance, just not understanding. So what are we doing? We are providing a way to map the crypto landscape. That's all we're doing. And we don't have to use a fancy search engine. We don't have to use all these different things. We can use something called crowdsourced intelligence. And here's how it works. A whole bunch of people get together in a community. Some of them very knowledgeable about crypto, some of them not so knowledgeable. The people who are not so knowledgeable, they're going to have the opportunity to learn through our platform how to spot a landmine versus a gold mine. They can learn at their own pace and they can get their knowledge level up. But in the process, while they're waiting to get their knowledge level up, it's okay because they can simply follow behind the people who already know how to spot a landmine from a gold mine. See how that works? You can just follow the crew. And then what we're going to do is every single 2 weeks, we're going to vote. We're going to have people who nominate these projects, and then we're going to have everybody gets to vote on these projects if they're holding $50 worth of Sosana or more. There's a key thing there. Write that down if you're not writing, because that's going to be important. They have to be holding on to a certain amount of Sosana to participate in the vote. Now, you vote for a bunch of projects. You actually are fortunate enough that you picked the right project. Congratulations to you, because if over the period of the first 2 weeks, we've actually accumulated all these different transactions, you just saw Mark show you $400 million worth of transactions in one day from one token, right? We're taking 1% of all of these daily transactions, and we're going to do it across 2 weeks, and whatever that number is, with no limitation, whether it's $10,000, whether it's $10 million, it doesn't matter. We're going to take all of that and we're going to go and buy whatever the token was that won. We're going to buy that token for that amount. So if we have $100,000 in this Degen Voter Wallet, we're going to buy $100,000 worth of that token and divide it evenly amongst the winners. Here's an example of some math. Mark said it over and over again. We're not making income promises. I'm just trying to let you understand, guys. So please don't take this as a promise, but I just want to give you an example. Let's say there's $100,000 in the Degen Voter Wallet. Let's say 100 people voted for the right token and you were one of them. We're going to buy $100,000 worth of that token and then airdrop. If you don't know what that means, it means simply we're going to give to those 100 people automatically into their digital wallets where they hold their cryptocurrency an even and equal amount of all of those tokens. $100,000 worth of tokens, 100 winners, everybody gets $1,000 worth of tokens. Simple math. Hopefully you understand that. But here's the part you might be missing. It's the timing of when all this happens. Mark said, hey man, at 7 o'clock, we're making the announcement of what the winning token project is. Those 100 winners are all going to be excited because they won. And that's great. And they're going to know that in 1 hour, here's the key part, everybody. 1 hour from that announcement, there's going to be a $100,000 purchase of this small cap token, right? So XYZ token that got nominated and won, and we're going to make a $100,000 purchase of XYZ token 1 hour from now. Think about what we just said. We are telling you 1 hour in advance that something momentous is going to be able to happen 1 hour later, and you know this before the rest of the world knows this. Now, if you understand what causes the value of tokens to go up, guys, you understand that a $100,000 purchase into a small cap token is very likely to skyrocket the price. We got to use terms like very likely because we got to be legal, but you get what I'm saying. You know that in an hour, there's going to be potentially a moonshot of a token because of what Sosana is about to do, and no one else knows it. What are you probably going to do, whether you were one of the winners or not? And this is where we say there's no losers, because not just the people who won are informed that they won. All the people who voted are informed what the winning token was and how much is going to be purchased of that token, which means unless you're not hearing me clearly, there's never any losers. I don't care whether I won or not. If I did, hooray for me. But even if I didn't win, I still now know that if I'm smart, I'm going to go buy some of those tokens. And as more and more people do that, let's say we have 5,000 people in Sosana. I want to actually really start getting to it. We got 5,000 people, and now they all know, right? All the people who voted, whether they won or not, they all know that there's going to be this $100,000 purchase in an hour. They want to get in front of that big blow up in that token. They all start buying the token. What do you think starts happening to the price? Price starts going up. Price starts going up. They start buying more. Price starts going up, right? Now, you got a bunch of people sitting around the world who are traders, and they're looking at their exchanges. They never heard of Sosana, never heard of this token, that one token XYZ, but they have this thing on their screens that talks about trending tokens, right? And all of a sudden, they see some token that they've never heard of starts going up by 10%, then 20%, by 30% in a matter of minutes. And they say, man, I don't know what's going on, but something's going on. This token is starting to skyrocket. Somebody knows something that I don't know. I'm going to go get in on it because it's growing. And then they start buying it, and it starts pushing the price even higher and higher. And then 1 hour later, boom, $100,000 purchase in that scenario happens. What do you, and the token can potentially explode even more, thus causing more people to want to come on board and buy the token, because now it's increased by some ridiculous number in a 1 hour period. And the people who had the information first, who got it at the lowest possible price first, they have the chance to have the biggest win. And those people will be the people who are a part of Sosana's community. Now, as more and more people start hearing that, and they start understanding that there's something going on in this Sosana project, that these Sosana people are getting information before everyone else. These Sosana people are able to go take advantage of that information before everyone else. They're going to say, I need to become one of these Sosana people. How do I do that? I got to go buy me some Sosana, right? Now, you get a bunch of people that want to buy Sosana. You have a whole other group of people that own Sosana and they don't want to sell Sosana because they are being incentivized to hold Sosana. The market says, okay, we'll offer you 50 cents for each one of your Sosana tokens. The sellers say, nope, don't want to sell. The market says, what about 75 cents? Nope, don't want to sell. What about $1? Nope, don't want to sell. The price will continue to go up until the market can equalize itself, where there's an equal amount of buyers and sellers. The market is always seeking equilibrium. It will increase the price until there's an equal amount of buyers and sellers. And if you have more sellers than you ever have buyers, it will decrease the price so you get an equal amount of sellers and buyers. But what we're creating is a scenario where for a very long time, there is going to be way more buyers than sellers. That's our intention, to create buy pressure, buy pressure, buy pressure, which makes the Sosana token incredibly valuable, which puts you in a position to win. So look at the income streams now. You can hold a Sosana token that can potentially increase. Got to say potentially, don't want to get in trouble with the attorneys, right? But it can potentially increase, and you can earn there. You can also every 2 weeks get something that most people never get in their life in business, which is absolute certainty of something that is going to happen before it happens. And you can capitalize there. You can build a portfolio full of potential gold mines, very few landmines, and you can watch your profits escalate there, and you can be at the front of the room getting it done. That's why we are excited about Sosana, because the more people who hear about this, the more people who join, guess what that means? The more buying of our token that they're doing, and some other people are selling the token, that means that Degen Voter Wallet gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So now all of a sudden, we're not talking about a $100,000 purchase. Maybe we're talking about a $500,000 purchase, $1 million purchase, a $5 million purchase. And you know this is going to happen before it happens. And maybe we're not talking about 5,000 people going and buying the token because they know. Maybe now the Sosana community is 5 million people buying a token because they already know. And what do you think that does to the price of that token? What do you think it does for us to be in a better position to win? You take all of that on its own, that's enough. But then we add there and this incredible affiliate program that's just more gasoline on a raging fire, where we're saying we're going to incentivize people even further to go out and spread this word, to get onto their social media channels, to get on the phone with their friends and their family and the people that they care about, the people who they think deserve a chance to win and they want to see them win, and to let them know about Sosana, to literally go tell the world, because when they tell the world, they'll be rewarded when those people come on board as affiliates with additional Sosana tokens that strengthening their holding, that can grow more explosively for them as they go forward. You put all of that together and you have a recipe for incredible success. Again, I'm going to take a cue from my co-founder, Mark, that I'm going to say, Mark, you guys got this. You're very fond of saying we can't make guarantees. We can't do that. We don't want to get ourselves in trouble. But I'm going to say this. If you knew what I knew, and if you understood that just as well as my 19-year-old daughter, who said, it sounds like I'm going to call up mom and we going out shopping, you can get to the point of understanding that what we're setting up is like nothing else that has ever been done. We found a void in the marketplace. You got this incredible crypto landscape, but it's dangerous. And only thing people really need is a map to keep from getting blown up by the landmines. And we're going to provide that map for them. And we're going to give them incredible information to enhance their chance of winning. That will be one of the most valuable things out there. And if it has that level of value, that's going to be reflected in the price of the token and in the ultimate market cap of this project. And the people who are hearing about it now first before everyone else, you guys are going to be in the best position to win, not just short term, not just midterm, but long term. This is going to be something that's going to be around for a very long time to come. You're hearing about it at the very beginning. You're going to have a chance to win at a very high level. So hopefully that conversation makes sense to you. If it doesn't, this has been recorded. Listen to it again, because if you get what I just said, you know you're in the right place at the right time, and you should be fired up about sharing this with as many people as you can. With that said, Mark, I'm going to shut up, sir. I'm going to turn that call back to you. Thank you.
Man, I should have put out a word of warning before I unleashed you on the public just now. That was awesome. Good job. I appreciate that, brother.
Yes,
So,
sir.
okay, we're going to open this up for questions and stuff, but I want you guys to think about this right now. This thing is such an amazing opportunity, we believe, with our experience and what we've experienced. And we've got people like the professor in the house. We've got all kinds of leaders out there. Our main man, Keith, is in the house. And I want you guys to just think about it. Look at how many people are participating in this call right now. 77 people. What does that tell you? That tells you you might be really early. You might be really, really early. I think we've had as many as like 160 to 170 at the most on these Zooms. And so we're just getting started. We're kind of ebbing and flowing. You got to realize we just launched the affiliate pre-enrollment links a week ago. Think about that. It seems like a lifetime ago for some reason. I don't know why, right? And we worked through those little bugs, right? And I got to tell you guys, as incredible as this is, we're always going to be working through little challenges. We're doing something that's never been done. So we're going to work through some challenges. You are here early. So every time you run into a little challenge, because we're going to have challenges. If you guys think that the road is straight up, I got news for you. It ain't. Okay, we're going to have ups and downs. We're going to have challenges, but it's getting through those challenges. And being here early means you got to take the brunt of the most of those challenges, right? So you got to accept that responsibility. You got to do that with yourself and your team as you build this in our affiliate network. But I want you guys to think about it. I'm just telling you, man, remember this day. What is it? August 6th, 2025. You were here. And there were just 77 people on this Zoom as I spoke about it. I'm telling you, I believe we're going to come back at a point, and I don't know when this will be. Again, there's always that tipping point where we hit momentum, and you're going to look down at those participants and you go, huh, we just hit 770 callers here all of a sudden. And then you're going to come back maybe a few weeks later and you're going to be like, there's like 1,500 people here, right? See, that's what I think is going to happen. And I think eventually tens of thousands. And especially in our Telegram. I mean, our Telegram has probably almost doubled in like the last 8 to 10 days. Like it's just starting to happen. The ground is swelling. And you know what's amazing? We haven't even launched the token yet. Wait till we launch the token. What's really neat about this, we want to launch as soon as possible. Everybody keeps asking me, when's the launch date? When are we going to do this? When's it coming out? I can't wait. My team can't wait. We're all chomping at the bit. We got to get this thing going. And we want to launch yesterday. We want to launch as soon as possible. But number one, we're going to do it right. We're going to put it through the stress test that it needs. We're going to put it through the audit that it needs for the safety of the community to make sure what happened to us before doesn't happen again. Okay. We're doing everything as close by the book as we think is the right thing to do. We're putting all the safety measures in place to protect the community so that when we launch this thing, we have as little problems as possible. No, I didn't say no problems, but as little as possible. But remember, growing pains happen. Every great company that I've ever heard of had growing pains. We're going to have growing pains. I just know it. I don't know what they're going to be. I'm not going to predict that either, but we're going to have them. Be ready. Okay, I just want you to be prepared for that because nothing good comes easy. And in my opinion, this is the best good I've ever seen in crypto. I've never seen anything like this on the Solana ecosystem. There's a lot of great projects out there that are great because of their technologies and wonderful projects. You know, you got Ripple, just go to the top 10 list on CoinMarketCap, and you got great projects out there that people have made fortunes from being in at the beginning, right? But in my opinion, this is the most rewarding project. In my opinion, I think we're gonna create something that's going to reward people more, because you're not just going to have an opportunity to make money potentially just by holding tokens. We got all these incredible utilities. We got this affiliate plan. We got these rewards. And one of the reasons people are going to be an affiliate, and I mean everybody that's a member of Sosana that holds $50 in votes, we think every single person across the board, and I'm sure there's always exceptions to that, but just about everybody across the board is going to want to be an affiliate. Why? Because we're going to bring that same voting process, that same reward mechanism with pre-launch projects. You remember when I told you about the marketing wallet? How 1% goes into that marketing wallet every day, 1%, just filling it up. We're going to cut that marketing wallet in half, and we're once a month, we're going to use that wallet to reward the voters in the community hub for pre-launch projects. And every one of these pre-launch projects that we bring to our community hub is going to be KYC'd, fully doxed type projects. These are people that we know. So we know who they are, what's behind it, super quality, we hope. That's our goal, again, as usual, but we're going to let you guys decide. We're going to bring it to you. We're going to do it in the safest way possible, the most secure way possible, and then you guys are going to make the decision as to which projects are the best ones. And when you win that reward, you're not going to get rewarded in airdropped in tokens for actually not betting, for actually voting, right? You don't bet anything. That's what's amazing. You're not betting anything. You're just holding. So you're basically going to vote on that pre-launch project, and if you vote on the winning pre-launch project, you're going to get rewarded in Solana tokens, not their native token, but in Solana tokens, which then you can choose to use those Solana tokens to buy that project that you voted for. Amazing reward. That's why we believe, because think about it, if you want to be a member of Sosana and you like the voting and reward mechanism that we have, why wouldn't you want to be an affiliate, become a part of the community hub, and really enjoy that potential benefit, right? Same process all over again. That's why we think everybody's going to want to do it. And then, of course, inside that affiliate, we have amazing digital education projects that are all, the purpose of it is to teach you how to navigate the Solana ecosystem, find quality projects, and not get Sosana'd. Okay, that's our whole purpose. We want every member of Sosana to be the best member they can possibly be, with the education and information that will help you learn how to be a great Sosana community member, help us all together in one accord, unified in finding quality projects to build up our portfolio. And you know what? Who knows? We might find some projects that can just absolutely create wealth for people. That's our goal, right? We don't know how well we'll accomplish it, but that's what we're here to try to do. I'm going to open this up for some questions for just a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I want to know if there's any questions out there. Just write it in the chat. Just if you want to speak, raise your hand, and we'd love to hear from you guys. So any questions that you have, just pop them in the chat here. I'm going to look here real quick. I love this here from Jim here. He says, it finally hit me. I've been here every time and just now got it. You are buying the winning coin, then dividing those bot coins to the winners. Ha, I just got that. Oh my. Well, see, that's what happens when the light goes on, right? And when the light goes on, you can't turn it off. Not here. If the Sosana light goes on for you, you are never going to turn it off. And wait till you experience it. It's going to get better. Awesome. Love hearing from you, Jim. Let's see. I'm still trying to understand, but I think I will eventually get it. Okay. Hang in there. You'll get it. You'll get it. I noticed that the KYC form is up on the Sosana site. Should we still hold off on completing that? Yes. You can't even complete KYC yet. So until we launch and go live, you cannot complete your KYC. KYC is so important, folks, because KYC is going to do two things. Number one, it's going to protect our affiliate community hub from scammers. Number one. But number two, it's going to keep people from manipulating the voting process. That's extremely important, because if we didn't have KYC as part of the voting process, when you connect your wallet, If you haven't performed KYC, it's going to tell you that you have to perform it before you can vote. So you got to complete your KYC. Why is that so important? Because I know, listen, I realize everybody loves the decentralized world of crypto. Nobody wants to KYC in crypto. I get it. But you got to do it here. And the reason why is because if you don't do it, you, me, and everybody else is going to be subject to all the scammers out there that are going to create hundreds and hundreds of wallets with their little scam techniques and their little bots and stuff, and they're going to manipulate the voting process and ruin all the rewards for everybody. Do you really want someone coming into our community with hundreds of wallets and voting for every project just to make sure that they win? And that in that case, they win multiple times? You don't want them leeching from that voting reward pool. You don't want that to happen. So you want KYC. It's just like when you go to your election booth in elections, right? You don't want other people that shouldn't be registered to vote. You don't want them coming in and voting and then stealing the election from us with people that aren't qualified to vote. Maybe they aren't citizens. Maybe they're criminals, whatever. You don't want that to happen, right? Well, you really don't want them stealing from our liquidity pool or from our voter Degen bonus wallet. You don't want that happening. So we got to have that. We're doing things to make sure in every fashion to protect the community and make this thing last for what we hope will be years and years to come. As long as Solana is here, we believe there's going to be a real purpose for what Sosana is bringing, and we think that it's going to heal people in crypto from the shiny object syndrome. That's the whole purpose of it. Let's see here. When are Zoom calls 2 p.m. and 9 p.m.? Okay, right now we're just doing 9 p.m. We kind of talked about this, the idea of doing 2 p.m. calls. We're not against it. But what we think is what we should do first is come up with a hard launch date first, so we can really build the momentum toward that hard launch date. We don't have a hard launch date yet because we don't feel secure enough to just come out and say, that's the day. We don't want to do that yet. We don't want to disappoint people. We don't need the roller coaster of emotions and all this stuff going on. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is we want to work as hard as we can as a team to bring this project to you as fast as possible, but most importantly, in the right way, the safe way, the right way. Let's see here. So the $50 in Sosana to vote, is that a fee to vote? No, that is not a fee. All it is that you must hold $50 worth of Sosana in your wallet when you connect it to the DApp, which stands for decentralized app, decentralized application. You got to have those tokens sitting in your wallet to qualify to vote. So you're not betting here. You're not spending fees. We aren't collecting fees like that. That ain't how it works. We're letting you hold and just prove that you're a holder. That's it. And now you're qualified. So it's real simple. Same for the 500 to nominate. Yes. There's no fee. Again, no fee. If you hold 500, that's it. All right. Thank you, Angel, for that question. Any other questions? We're going to tie this up within an hour, I think. Love it. Anybody want to come out and speak? You got a comment to make? Let me look here. I can't see all the hands. Okay, I don't see any hands out there yet. All right. Got anything you want to say or any questions? This is your last chance. We got Shelly. She says, what are the best providers to use to purchase Solana using a credit card? The one in Phantom is, she says, Ultimate. I'm not sure what she means by Ultimate. So what are the best providers to use to purchase Solana using credit card? That's a really good question. The thing that comes to my mind first is Coinbase. And don't get me wrong, I'm not the biggest fan of Coinbase, even though I love the security that Coinbase gives us. But I think there is a way to buy through your Phantom wallet, yes. You can do that. I got to admit, I've never done it. Is there anybody out here who can talk about their experience on buying Solana tokens with a credit card, and if they did it through Phantom or Coinbase? Does anybody want to share their testimony, maybe help us out a little bit? Anybody out there? Anyone going once? Oh, there's a hand. Hold on. Oh, I see the professor. Yes, I knew you'd find a reason to talk. Here we go. Bring on the professor. Here we go.
My Ray Charles impersonation, or
Yep.
my Stevie Wonder impersonation had a little eye procedure today. You like that?
Love it.
This was a kick butt Zoom, and I don't have an answer necessarily to Shelley's question. You like Coinbase? I will tell you my favorite centralized exchange is actually crypto.com. I
Okay.
like them far better than Coinbase. I've not used credit card. I've used my debit card. And I've been able to buy, cryptocurrency instantly with a debit card, about a 3% charge. It may vary depending on what part of the world you're in. And immediately I've never had my crypto held up. Somebody as a part of our community did tell me it took 24 hours before they were able to move it from crypto.com over to their actual wallet. So that's the longest I've heard, but I've not done credit card. I've only done debit card. That's not what I raised my hand for, but
I love it. It's all good.
got it.
Love it.
Got it.
Thanks for sharing, buddy.
Got it, buddy.
Anybody else have anything? Okay. Again, I said that last question was probably going to be our last, but you know me, I'm too nice. I'm gonna push over for questions. It says, do we need Solana already in our Phantom wallet? When we launch, Edward, have that Solana token ready in your Phantom wallet. Yes, have that ready. Because if it ain't ready, you're going to be scrambling to get it in there and you're not going to be able to buy at the fair launch. You want to have those tokens ready. If you guys are planning to purchase the Sosana token, you must have your Phantom wallets loaded and ready to go. Let's see here real quick. So we don't have to use Phantom. Can we just purchase Sol on Sosana? I don't see how or where. Okay, Helen, that's a great question. You know what I would tell you, Helen? This would just help you. Okay, this is just what I do all the time. There's a YouTube video tutorial for everything you can think of. Everywhere. If you go to YouTube and you type in, how do I buy Solana with a credit card? How do I buy Solana and get it into my Phantom wallet? What do I do? And you just start researching, you're going to get video tutorials that show you step by step how to do it. It's not hard. It's really simple, and there's a lot of different ways. That's why I don't feel like I should just tell you, do this, do that. So I want you to just kind of do that, and I think that'll help you a lot. I hope that helps you. If it doesn't, come back and tell me if it didn't help you. You use debit card too. Okay, that's it. No more questions. That's it, folks. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. And Professor, when you say it was an awesome call, that meant it was a pretty good call, because you've seen a lot of calls.
Yeah, that was
Been on a lot of
a
Zooms.
heck of a Zoom,
Awesome.
man. That
Awesome.
was a
Love it.
heck of a Zoom.
Yep. And love my partner, Brian. We try to knock it out of the park every night for you guys. Sometimes we miss, but hopefully we hit it tonight. And I hope that everyone understands what we're doing, because you don't want to miss this, in my opinion. Again, this is just my opinion. Not a guarantee of income, not financial advice, none of that stuff. But I really believe what we're doing. I believe in what we're doing. Listen, man, I'm the co-founder. I got to believe in what we're doing, right? I might be biased, but you decide. Am I just biased, or does this make sense to you? You guys make that decision. Thanks again for everybody coming on, the interaction, the questions, the comments. Love this community. Next time, please bring a friend with you. Let's pack these calls. I'd like to get these calls to 1,000 people as soon as possible. Okay. And there's a chance to do that every night. Just bring your friends. Just tell them, say, hey, listen, just come listen to it. Tell a person, I don't care if you're interested or not. It's okay. No problem. Just listen. If they know anything about crypto, tell them to just listen and see what they think, because I'm getting some really good responses. This is actually, to be honest with you, I've been in direct sales for probably 30 years. This is the easiest thing I've ever sold. And that's the honest truth of it. And you're really going to think I'm hyping that up and biased and all that. But I don't know. What do you think, Professor? Isn't this pretty much the easiest thing you've ever had to sell to anybody?
It is.
It is.
To the point I got on the road last week. My dad is 83 years young. He's heard of Bitcoin, but he doesn't know much about crypto. Well, he put 4 figures in my hand to make sure that I went on and got the crypto for him.
There you go.
So he'll be ready to go.
Nice.
Mark, but I know you want to end in an hour. I want to ask you something though, so that we can really get just how big the Sosana piece is. By the way, you gentlemen did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
All right. So when you were showing the meme coins on coinmarketcap.com. So anybody can go there, but coinmarketcap.com.
Mhm.
And there's a section there that says memes, and you can
Right.
look at the top meme coins. Okay. So a lot of the other day when I looked at it, 11 of the top 100 crypto projects, meme or not, 11 were meme coins in the top
Right.
100. And all of
Yes.
them had $1 billion or more market cap. Okay.
Okay.
So based on the max circulating supply of 88,888,888 tokens, and the fact that that max supply won't be achieved for at least 5 years.
Right.
But if we look at it from a max supply standpoint, if we get to a $1 billion project, and however long it takes to get there, what would the token, the Sosana token, have to be going for with that
Yeah.
math?
Well, it really depends on how many tokens are in circulation, but what it could be is anywhere from $11 all the way up to $22, somewhere in there. So somewhere between $11 and $22. $11 if all tokens are in circulation, and then somewhere in between if they're not. So that's and it just depends on when it happens, and as those tokens are coming out in circulation. Now, if you want to understand our release schedule, just go to our light paper. Just read our light paper. We've posted it in the Telegram community. It should be pinned in there. And if you can't find it, just ask a question in the Telegram to let people kind of point in that direction. But we talk about that release schedule. But yeah, that's kind of what you're looking at. And you can talk about what could or may not happen. We don't know what's going to happen. We have no idea what's going to happen until we put it out in the marketplace, and you guys are going to decide. You guys are going to grow this project. You guys are going to participate in the voting and the nominating, and you're going to decide how big your affiliate team is. You guys are going to make all those decisions. We're just going to sit back and do everything we can to help you do that, to make that process as smooth as possible. That's what me and David and Brian and Reggie are going to do for you, and Keith and the professor and everybody else.
So Mark, if I could just indulge me for just a moment here, okay? You've talked crypto, and you've talked degen, and you've talked some words that maybe some of us that aren't as versed in crypto as you are, we're picking up some of these terms. I come from more of the marketing, network marketing, MLM, and I
Yeah.
know this is not an MLM, okay?
Right.
But I've heard this so many times where somebody's saying, man, all the leaders are coming over to this deal, whatever this deal is, or the owner saying we're going to be the next $1 billion company.
Mhm.
And for the rank and file, my Joe, my Sue average, that never meant anything to them. But if we do become $1 billion market cap, and Joe average, who never told a soul, simply had some tokens.
Yeah.
And we're $1 billion market cap. We're somewhere
Mhm.
between $11 to $22 per token. And if Joe Sue average was there at the fair launch, when maybe we're getting it for, we don't know, less than pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, maybe
Right.
even $1.
Right.
So, folks, that's what I want you to get, is that you take Keith Lacey, who's the guy who referred me. You take someone like yours truly, who works into the night, doing content, and you say, well, gosh, Mark Hamlin, I saw that he was promoting Sosana. I love me some Mark Hamlin. All right. And I was like, on it. I wish I would have referred him. Then I remembered, but wait a minute. I benefit.
Yeah. Everybody does.
For
Right.
anything that Mark Hamlin does.
Yes, you do.
Or if Shelly just
Potentially.
buys tokens, potentially,
Yeah.
just buys tokens and she holds on so she can vote.
Yeah.
I benefit.
Right.
I've never had that before.
Yeah. It's awesome.
I've looked at Mark Hamlin, as much as I love him, if he was not on my team, and he might be competition. He ain't my competition.
Yeah. He's your helper. He's your partner. Everybody's your partner in this affiliate
Everybody's my
plan.
partner.
Everybody is.
Can I
That's
ask
kick butt.
real quick,
That's
Mark,
kick
before
butt.
we go?
Yeah, it is. What's up, Brian?
Yeah, I just want to say, because listen, I'm a lot like the professor from a standpoint of, I come from a network marketing background. 30 years, you know, a little over 30 years ago, I got involved in my first network marketing company. It was a company called ACN. And I'll never forget, I was not making any money, you know, but I went to a convention and they have all these incredible leaders walking across the stage. And these guys are getting, you know, all these awards for all this big money in this production. They were giving out $50,000 bonus checks, $100,000 checks, man. And everybody's cheering. I'm one of them. I'm with the crowd, man. I'm cheering. Yeah, yeah. I'm all excited. And then the president of the company came. And you talk about being able to throw cold water on somebody. He said, "Hey, man, you guys are excited?" Everybody's like, "Yeah, we're excited." He said, "Great, man." He said, "Because ACN is doing great." He said, "But let me ask you all a question. How's your ACN doing?" And bro, you want to talk about a reality check of me realizing I'm sitting here cheering about all these guys getting these $100,000 checks, man. And my last bonus check was like, you know, $17.50. It just smacked the crap out of me, right? And I realized that their success, although inspiring, doesn't actually change anything for my bottom line. That is not the case here. That is not the case here. This is a thing where I would love to be at a convention and watching the professor walk across the stage. And like, man, the professor, he just did this. And yeah, because here's the deal.
Good point.
When the price goes up, it goes up for everybody. So if you're holding $500 worth of Sosana, if Sosana is at $1, you got 500 Sosana tokens is at $1. And because of the professor's efforts and Mark Hamlin's efforts and Keith Lacey's efforts, they go out and they crushing it because they're so prolific at what they do and they drive the price to $2. Guess what? It goes to $2 for everybody, including you. Your $500 worth of tokens is now worth $1,000. So go, Professor, go. Go, Hamlin, go. Go, Lacey. Yo, you understand
Love
that?
it. Love
Those guys keep crushing it and more leaders. Yeah, every time I hear new leaders coming in, you should be thinking to yourself, man, that's awesome because they have a skill set that I don't possess, but it does not matter because I will still benefit from every single thing that they do. That's why we're excited about the leaders kind of aping it here, man. All right, I'm going to shut up. You get me amped up
Man,
again.
that's all we needed to hear, man. Listen, man, that's all we needed to hear. That's a great way to end the call. Again, thank you everybody for coming on this call. We're going to say good night on that note. We'll see y'all later.
Good night, guys. Thank you.